Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Oh, I hear my echo somewhere. Of course, this is going to be like Bug City tonight. Yeah, we've got two shows left. It's this week and next week. So, of course, all sorts of chaos. But no, actually, now it's better. Now it's better. Dan Tordjman here, Ashley Mailloux, Emily Gullikson. How are we all doing tonight?
I think we're good. I think we got all the bad out. We're ready to roll.
If everyone knew what we just been through, but no, we are excited here. It's been a long and fun run here through the summer, and we're sort of winding down with this show. Woodbine Live Thursday nights. It took me a while to remember that the show was on Thursday nights, and now I've got it, which is exciting. I've graduated. And then, Robert Reid Jr. joins us every week. He's going to come in the 7 o'clock hour. We also have a mystery guest tonight. So excited to have him on in a little bit. I didn't give the formal introductions. Ashley, from a lot of these streams, racing analyst, paddock handicapper at Fort Erie. Ashley, how are you doing on this Derby week?
I'm surviving, so that's always a good thing, I guess.
Wow. Sounds like you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm great. No, it's actually been okay. But it's really chaotic, obviously, besides our other duties, there's obviously Derby on top of it, and there's been a lot going on there. So just busy, but surviving.
I feel you. Emily Gullikson, partner at Optics EQ, handicapper analyst at Brisnet. Emily, it's been a fun run. We started off really strong. We've been kind of lukewarm lately. Looking to end hot. You see some horses you like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think tonight is playable. I was almost thinking last night, if there had to be a pass on a week, it was last Thursday. I don't know if you guys saw, but it was all chalk, yeah. Very formful, unexciting. And I think tonight there could be some opportunities. And I don't know if you guys are watching the earlier races, but it's definitely a Woodbine type day where there's a pretty heavy wind throughout and then a headwind through the stretch. So it's creating a little bit of, I don't know, maybe some subtle chaos that we can take advantage of.
Okay. Well, let's get to it. Our first race of the night is race 6. By the way, if you're watching in Canada, you could watch Racing Night Live on TSN. It's airing nationally on TSN. If you're in the US, you could watch Racing Night Live and the coverage that's on Racing Night Live on America's Best Racing's YouTube channel, and then keep us up throughout the night as we'll cover 3 thoroughbred races, 3 harness races from Woodbine. So race 6 here, $40,000 optional claiming event, going 6 furlongs on the turf. And let's see, our favorite here is number 5, Teacher's Pet. Ashley, you do the honors. Kick us off. How do you see this race playing out?
I like Teacher's Pet a bit. I'm a little shocked at 5-2, I guess, off the 6-1 morning line. Teacher's Pet last time out, the 7 furlong distance, was there in the beginning. I mean, was right there and just had nothing left really in the stretch. I thought the return to the races for this one as a 3-year-old was pretty good from her. She was third, but I think she just kind of evened out in there. And I think for return to the races, it was fine. Now, last time was her first turf effort. And for me, her numbers didn't drop too much, but they dropped a little bit. She wasn't really well respected there. Today she's in for the $40,000 tag. I looked at her more as an underneath horse. Other ones, though, I did look at the 2 and the 3. I'll start with the 3, Miss Bobbit. This horse, last time out, went to the front, and they went fairly quick. I know typically she doesn't find herself on the lead necessarily. She's right there. I mean, I shouldn't say earlier, but this time last year she found herself on the lead. But this was the first time this year that she did go in 7 furlongs, and she just gave way in the stretch. I mean, she was beaten by 6 lengths in there, and that was at this level, but going longer. So 6 furlongs. I mean, she had a decent effort 2 back at 5 furlongs, but she was just kind of simply second best in there with the trip that she got. She was just chasing kind of hard. I liked her. The 2 I used a little bit. I thought last time out was a decent effort. It was okay against, winners for the first time. You're kind of looking at the level and comparing it to today. But if I was looking for a price horse, I was kind of confused into what direction to go here. We all know, I like to play trifectas, so I'm always looking for a horse for third. And for me, I thought the 6, Let's Have Fun, would be a horse that I would use for third. I probably couldn't endorse this horse much higher on the ticket, but last time out, I didn't like the effort. I thought the race 2 back was decent, was third, right behind Miss Bobbit. I mean, I shouldn't say right behind, but it still was a couple lengths off, but I had to chase in there and went a little wide. So I didn't love this race, I'll be honest, but for me, I kind of thought the 2 and the 3, and then underneath, I'd probably use the 5 and the 6.
Okay. Emily?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the 5 right now, I don't really see why this horse is the favorite. I know she's coming out of a tougher race, but you could say the same thing about the 6 and the 7 are coming out of that higher level allowance. Speed figures wise, I mean, she's kind of on the slower end this season compared to some of the other horses in this field. So pace, I don't think she's got an advantage there as well. There's other speed in the field. Looks like she wants to be forwardly placed. The number 3, 8, 6 could keep things honest. So I think she's, at a short price, she's vulnerable. I think this is a pretty contested field. The 2 looked really good on the track. I think is a pretty square price. I think it was listed as the morning second choice on the morning line, the 3 being the morning line favorite. I think it's pretty fair right now at 4. Getting a little bit on there. I agree just in terms of the 6 and the 7 both having upside, coming out of that higher allowance race, and speed figures being on par. So they're a little bit more exciting to me. And I mean, even the 1 I can upgrade a little bit in this spot. Just, if you are playing those kind of underneath, I know Giovanni's kind of chiming in right now with that one. I don't think she's impossible in here. It is a big step up off the maiden win, but her numbers are fine on the turf. I guess now they've made the 2 the favorite, but they're kind of shifting things around. But we'll kind of have to see how it goes, see how it's going to go in the wagering.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I didn't put up the comment right when you were speaking because since you're on the bottom there, when I do that, this blocks you. I didn't want to block you while you were speaking.
I have a lot of fans that'll be okay with that. So
no. We got a couple of viewers. Just kind of post the comments here. Let's definitely catch some winners tonight. And then we got this quick one from Pops here. So actually, I said on the show, I think a couple of weeks ago, that I thought I was kind of starting to understand Emily's methods. And I thought for sure that you were going to say the Good Witch was your horse. I mean, because it seemed like the logical value horse in this race, and just won that last race so professionally. I know it was the maiden breaker, but just did it so professionally that I thought represented value in a field where, if you watch the replays of some of these others at this level, and some of them that are dropping down slightly, just visually, I mean, I had concerns with just about all of them, and to the point that I think you made a moment ago. When it comes to pace, I thought there was just a ton of pace. Miss Bobbitt, Final Trick, Wired in her maiden win 2 back, Teacher's Pet, and Tilly. I thought all those could be up front, and then you got the Good Witch on the rail, just kind of letting it all unfold in front of her, kind of getting the same trip that she got last out. So I thought that was one way this race could play out. Of the speed, I did like Antilli. I don't 5-1 is not a bad price at the moment. I thought the horse would take a bit more money than that. So yeah, I landed 182 in this race. We do have a guest in the guest room, in the green room that I could bring in. Give us a thumbs up if you're ready to come in. If you see us there, give us the thumbs up. All right, he's ready to come in. We were going to bring him in next race, but heck, if we get 2 races or even 3 races with him, we might as well bring him in now. Sheldon.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? We're not hearing you well. You guys hearing him?
Not so much.
We're not hearing you well. Very, very low.
Give me a minute.
Yeah. Keep messing with it. We'll do a big build up. We'll do the wind up and do the introduction while you're sorting that out. So Sheldon, a few weeks ago, actually, this is when you were on your brief vacation. He hopped on the stream, was watching the races with us. You see that note in the bottom. Welcome to Woodbine Live. We want to hear from you. Play along with us. Well, he was playing along with us, and he was posting his picks every single race, and he swept the card. So naturally, we're like, we got to get this guy on. Who is this guy? So here he is tonight. He's here with us, sorting out the audio there. And hopefully. Still very low. Very low. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
All right, hang on. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna
okay.
see if I can figure this out.
All right.
We're like professionals at this.
Yeah. All right. We'll bring you back in here momentarily, and we will get his take
I know we're nearing in on post time, but in terms of Aunt Tilly, how do you feel as far as the distance today and her kind of being a little bit sometimes compromised in terms of distance with the 6?
Sure. No, yeah, I think that was certainly a concern here. I wasn't 5-1 right now. I know the price. I thought you would take more money, but that's certainly a concern. Look, the horse is also only 1-for-8 over the turf at Woodbine. I mean, I was kind of stabbing there a little bit, but I just didn't love anything else that I saw visually. And again, I was just trying to look for maybe, even though I think Aunt Tilly could be forwardly placed here, I was looking for something that looked a little different to me than the rest. And I know that's kind of a silly explanation, but that's sort of how I landed on her. I just think being on the outside, she could potentially track close enough and maybe get first run. And I sort of envisioned the Good Witch, coming up the rail to beat her. So I think
the 6 just took a drop, but I think those two horses between the 6 and the 7. I mean, the 7 last time out, I didn't quite touch on it, but her first time out coming back this season was wide and did have trouble in that race. Has speed figures from last year that totally fit. Kind of seems like a little bit of an overlay right now. Too logical, but pretty short.
The rest in a line away nicely. The Good Witch on the inside with Miss Bobbert between them. Too Many Mountains and Teacher's Pet. And around the outside, going forward is Aunt Tilly towards this lead, and then came Let's
I didn't expect the Good Witch on the lead, but okay.
Last is My Final Trick. Racing with the early lead, the Good Witch. A battle length to Aunt Tilly, and Miss Bobbert is 3rd. Taking up a nice position, Teacher's Pet a length away 4th, and 5th is Too Many Mountains. And then
they can't be going that fast, can they?
A couple of ways.
That's what I was saying about the wind, is it's carrying them on that backside, and then when you come into the stretch, you'll see it. It's like it's been really tough for horses to kind of finish. They have been able to pass, but you can see it visually.
And going to the front is Aunt Tilly with the Good Witch, and Teacher's Pet looms on the outside. Miss Bobbert in the center, and then Too Many Mountains. Aunt Tilly in front. The Good Witch is there. Miss Bobbert between them. Teacher's Pet trying to get home. And then came Let's Have Fun, and out wide is Silver Dahlia. Out in front, Aunt Tilly, the Good Witch, and Teacher's
See how they're like one pace? They're like all trying, but like they can't.
Clear on the outside.
Oh, here comes the 7, just way too late.
The winner, Teacher's Pet by a length and a half to either Silver
painful.
Dahlia or Miss Bobbert. And then
Painful.
That was essentially how I saw the race unfolding, but with different horses. I didn't picture those two being up front. I mean, 1-2 all the way around. So let's see if we got Sheldon back here. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Hey, very good, very good.
Tell us you were 6-7, and we would have had the winner if we got your audio in.
No, this is like Let It Ride. This is perfect. Like I didn't lose. I wasn't on. Have you seen that movie? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm not. Where is that from?
Let It Ride.
Oh, it's from Let It Ride. Oh,
yeah.
I can give you like 50 other quotes, but that's one I didn't think of. But yeah, it's exactly when he gets shut out, right?
He gets shut out. He goes, I didn't lose.
There it is. So Sheldon, tell us about you. Tell people about you. How you got into horse racing, how you got into betting, and is Woodbine like your main track?
Yeah, Woodbine's my main track. I live in downtown Toronto, so I'm about 25 minutes away if there's no traffic. Emily's right. It's very windy, and it is affecting the horses today. I started, my grandfather, his job was renting horses and carts to peddlers. So I knew about horses from when I was a tiny kid. He had a 2-stall stable right in downtown Toronto. Wow. So I was with horses when I was a kid. I grew up as a teenager with Northern Dancer. Secretariat was around in my early 20s. And I've played for over 40 years. Retired 8 years ago from a career in education, and I've been playing steady for the past 8 years. And I met Emily in 2016 at the NHC when John Doyle was taking her around, introducing her to people. There you go. So that's my story.
Nice. Well, Emily, did you want to ask anything or?
No, I know everything about him.
You already know everything.
I know it all. It's been 3 years. I have so much respect for Sheldon as like a great person, a great horse player. Everything. I mean, he supports our work over at Optic. So, best guest we could possibly have, in my opinion.
I'm looking to see if my name is blocking me out. There we go.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah,
If you tilt your camera down a touch, we may lose the top of your head, but we'll get
That's
there.
good.
It's my best part.
So, we've been doing this show now for, I think we're on week 9 or 10, and we've got one more week to go. We're going to do it all the way up to Queen's Plate week. Obviously, Queen's Plate next week, which no one's talking about at the moment, obviously, because there's sort of a big race this weekend. When you handicap Woodbine, and for me, even though I'd handicapped it sort of casually in the past, I've taken it more seriously now. What are some of the hacks? What are, if you're going to talk to somebody about playing Woodbine who's not familiar with Woodbine, what would you tell them?
Woodbine's an island. You come in, you stay here for the meet. It's a long meet. It's like California in that way. The horses run against each other, and they run against each other more than once.
Right.
You've got Tapeta, which makes for an interesting mix because the horses are going to go back and forth between turf and Tapeta, and conventional wisdom says that if a horse can run on turf, he can run on Tapeta. I think it's a different surface. And so one of my handicapping angles is to look for horses that are successful on Tapeta specifically, and not necessarily on grass as well. There's an interesting case in the race coming up. Emma on the 5 horse, I believe, won wire to wire on turf.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now she's going to be on the Tapeta trying to do the exact same thing. That'll be an interesting. I got a couple of things to say about that, but we'll wait for that. You wanted to know general hacks. It's a very friendly jockeys colony. This is almost like a country club. You don't want to do something that's going to make the other jockeys unhappy, because you got to live with them, and they don't come and go. So you'll see rails open up an awful lot. Justin Stein has taken advantage of the rail opening up for 3 weeks now. He did it earlier tonight.
Yeah.
He is being on fire. He's riding great, but he's getting some trips that are unbelievable. Tapeta lends to trips. Emily would know way more about that because that's one of her areas of expertise. But the trip handicapping here is really, really important.
Yep.
And I think the only other hack I can say is the good trainers, like anywhere else, get their share, and the lesser trainers have to pick up where they can.
Yep. Just to go back to what you mentioned about Justin Stein, already 3 winners on the card tonight from 6 races. So
and a good chance to have a 4th.
Yep.
Coming up.
All right. Well, let's do this. We may as well get to the race. It's the 7th race tonight. You see it right up there. 25 minutes to post time. It's a $25,000 claiming race, as Sheldon indicated. This is on the Tapeta mile on the 16th. Since you're our guest, we're happy to give you honors here, getting us started off. You can jump into pace, or you can kind of go horse by horse, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever your process is. Okay,
number 1 to start with, the horse I really liked scratched late this afternoon.
The 6, Prados.
The 6 coming out, and it was perfect because he had enough speed to get to the lead. The wind is going to prevent the horses from far back catching up. And I think he was absolutely ready coming off of a work, but he's gone. So let's see who's going to be on the lead. I think the number 1 is going to be on the lead. I don't know if the number 1 horse is able to sustain it all the way around. But at 11-1, coming off a 20-1 morning line, that horse interests me very much. The other horse that interests me is the 5. with Emma riding, trying to duplicate what she did on turf at a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. If she can get close enough to the front, she's got a really good chance. The question I have once again with that horse, like the one, are they too cheap? This is a $25,000 claimer, but it's not. They just happen to be running for this pot right now. But there are horses in here that have run for more and could run for more. I don't think any of these geldings are getting claimed. I think no one's worried about that. And they run against each other all the time. So I'm not worried about the designation of the or the level that much. The 7, 8, and 9 are clearly the class of the field. But if you take a look at the price of the 7, 8, and 9, it's staring you in the face. I don't know about you guys, but that's not how I make money at the racetrack. I'm looking for prices. So Emma is at the 5 horse is 7 to 1. The 1 horse is 12 to 1. And Justin Stein is 3 to 1, which is ridiculous because that horse has more upside than to my way of thinking, than the 7 and the 8, simply because he hasn't run as much. I said they were all geldings. I'm wrong. The 3 is not a gelding. And he's an outlier. It's Patrick. It's second time Patrick. It's Drexler's other horse, the one that's not taking all the money. This to me is also a very interesting horse. This horse was originally in the Dale Romans barn. And here he is. I mean, these horses run all the time. Bob Tiller's Curious George. He's there. He can close, but I don't know if he can close with the wind blowing the way it's blowing. So the 8 horse, Florida One, is made over $500,000. He's 9 years old. He started out in Bill Mott's barn. There were some really interesting horses here. I'm looking for outliers. I'm looking for something different than simply what the board is telling me, what the form says. So I would mess around with the 1, the 5, a little bit of the 3, the 9, who now is gone favorite and will probably go lower. But those are my 4 horses to start with.
Yeah. When you said ridiculous on the 9 being 3 to 1, are you saying that you expected less action or more action, or you're expecting more action because it's Stein and you think the horse has upside?
Oh, he's already down 5 to 2.
Yeah,
he's going off as the favorite.
Okay. Interestingly, though, I mean, to your point about horses coming from off the pace, maybe being a little bit up against it, from the 9 post, and also a horse that doesn't have too much early speed, is that a concern with you for you with that one?
It's a concern, but Justin Stein negates the concern. He's riding so well. He's on top of his game. He'll work out a trip. If he's not coming up the rail when they make the turn into the home stretch, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Just in terms of the 9 as well, I mean, Trip, because he's coming out of those higher level allowance races, I know he's not showing speed necessarily, like tactical speed in those races, but the class makes a big difference. And we already saw in that last race, the riders are adjusting to the way that the wind is playing and the way these results are. And we saw horses that just like they all kind of fanned out across the track, right? So they're reacting to that. So in terms of like some of these horses that like we'll look at the 3, for example, this is a horse that he has some speed. I think he has some distance limitations. He needs this class drop in order to go this 2 turns. But this is a horse where Patrick Husbands, I could easily see them get this horse right into the fray. So I think there's going to be, pace from that front. Same thing, Courtly Manor, second off. He showed a little bit of speed last time out. I think the riders are going to they've been more aware of how this is playing. And it does turn into, having position, having finish, like we saw in the last race, and become a rider's race. I mean, what Sheldon mentioned kind of going through the field is there's a lot of ways to go in this race. That taking an underlay isn't the way to attack this race, and certainly not take money. I wrote up this race for on the Woodbine site, and rode up both the 7 and 9 because I thought they would get favorable trips in here. I don't think they're quite deep closers, kind of more of a mid-pack type. And I assume that the 7 would be a bigger price than the 2, than the 9, I should say. But again, I mean, I think it's like we've got to kind of shop for value and just sort of see how that shakes out, and lean a little bit more towards riders on a day like today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just watching replays here. I mean, Court Battle and Courtly Manor have hooked up before. I mean, I think they're. I mean, especially being drawn inside. I think we could see a replay of their race 2 back. What was the date on it?
August 1st.
The August 1st race. Yeah, I mean, we could see essentially a replay of that, except again that track was not playing the way this track is playing, and so we'll see. Maybe they go a little farther than they did that time. And to your point about the jockeys adjusting, I mean, if it is a 4 or 5 way go, who's that horse maybe sitting just behind them who has a chance to and who can also save ground and all the rest of it. I thought Bourbon Extension was an interesting one. That last race was just sort of uncharacteristically bad. And if you forgive that one, you find some races there that fit. And, right now at 18-1 in what kind of feels like a little bit of a free for all here, I might be willing to roll the dice on Bourbon Extension. Ashley, we know we've gone around you here for a while, so you've got to carry us the next 17 minutes to post. Go.
I mean, I like Frankie Barone. I think looking at those 2 races, I thought they were tougher, and and for the 25 tab today, that was something. I mean, we've talked about Justin Saenz. I'm not going to repeat that, but I think the thing that I noticed with the 2 races this year is, Emily kind of touched upon it too about where this horse is going to be early on. I don't think the horse was in the right spot in either of those races, because looking at some of those better performances last year, this horse was a little closer to the pace. And those were cheaper races. I know they're non-winners of 2 and non-winners of 3 life, and now you're in a different ball game, but still at that 25 tag. For me, I mean, I like Frankie Brown. I don't like 5-2. I'm not trying to find a chalk in here. We had mentioned kind of about Florida 1. I mean, this horse has a ton of back class on him. I mean, that's why he's made $500,000. He won the Ontario Derby. He was kind of a hype horse. I believe then he was in the Cassie barn at the time, I want to say. I remember because that's the same year Coltimus Prime won the Prince of Wales. These 2, kind of duked it out. To me, I think Florida 1's going to be in a good spot. It's just, is he going to have enough? I mean, yes, he's a 6-time winner over the Tapeta up there, and I thought both of his performances over the turf this year, they've been good. They just haven't been good enough. But I think looking at his turf form, if he's going to be that close on the Tapeta, I think he's got a fair shot at it. I know we talked about kind of on the same horses that were already mentioned. I mean, I like Guitar George. I've liked him all year. I liked it at his first race. I was on a podcast. I talked about him, and I loved that he was 14-1 that day. And I believe the winner was a decent price too. But my thing with his most recent effort, I didn't love it. But then again, kind of looking at him, he was just a length or 2 further back than he usually is. For me, I'd like to see him float up a little bit more in price. I don't love him at 3-1. To me, the value from a horse, you talked about Bourbon Extension. I could use Bourbon Extension underneath. Just looking at those starter handicap races, yes, they're on the turf of Tampa, but just kind of seeing how he fit there and some of the numbers. I use buyer numbers. They're pretty big buyers for that. So for me, I could use this horse underneath. I mean, the 2 races with Daniel Centeno, those were really good races, but they're going 1 1/8 and 1 3/8 on the grass. So that's kind of a little bit of a concern. But to me, the value is the 5, the Boss Factor. 100%. This was the horse that I put as my price horse in here. I just thought the effort last time, the horse had enough to do it in the turf, had enough to get the job done, only by half a length in there, but it was a huge step up, second time off the layoff. Yes, we're going to the Tapeta now, but this horse has won twice on the Tapeta. And I like that this horse, they kind of changed the tactics a little bit. They did end up on the lead. So for me at 8-1, that's the value that screams to me. That's the only horse that I can really see. But this to me, kind of looking at this race, I don't know. You can kind of make cases. It really depends how it's going to unfold. And now the win's a huge factor. That's what I think at least.
Yep.
I just want, as far as the change of tactics last time out, the Boss Factor was coming out of much shorter races, and a lot of his better races have been on the lead. So I don't think it was necessarily a change in tactics, but more of just the fact that it's a sprinter stretching out. which I mean, it's kind of like when I was looking at him, what sort of concerns me in here, because he had been at those short distances for so long. They tried him once. His only other route race before that was in the display as a 2-year-old and had been kept shorter. So typically there's a reason for that, right? If they thought he was going to want those 2 turns, like they would have done it. To me, it's like he got a lone trip last time out. Looks like there's going to be pressure in here. Kind of one that has to prove it. But again, I mean, hard to, knock if you guys like him, the price that he's currently at. But that was just sort of, the things that I came up with when analyzing him in this spot.
Patrick's up to 10-1 now. Now he's really interesting. I'm looking. He's form cycle ready too. This is third off the layoff. I'm just trying to find someone who's going to do something that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we know so much about the 7, 8, and 9, which is, and I understand what Ashley is saying is absolutely right. I understand about where they were in relation to where they were when they were successful, but these horses are not performing like they did in the past. They're older. Maybe they're starting to decline. I don't know if that's true, but I know that the prices are telling me that I don't want to be on their side if they are declining.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at this board and saying it's about time we got a price today. Have there been any prices today, or has it been all chalky?
Let's see. I can go through the win. $4, $7.40, $5.80. We got $13.30 with Hassan in the fourth.
Yeah.
Then we got $15.40 with Sunsprite, and then that last race we got $9.30, 7-2 with Justin Stein and Teacher's Pet.
I'm coming around on the 3. I'm harsh on this horse because I know distance wise he really doesn't want to go this far, and I think that's why he has a lot of underneath finishes.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he is getting class relief, and I know Sheldon talked about this as far as like these horses that have been running it higher, but using an optics, we have what it's called an optics figure range. So it shows like what the horse is, what it takes to win each race. And so aside from like the class just being a drop, I can look at the figure range from the races he's coming out of, and he's coming out of higher races. So the races that he's been running, again, being third start of the form cycle, he is improving, taking a step forward with each race. And I just think, in terms of trip, he could just be like right there, being able to kind of save ground. Those other horses, try to just get in position to kind of sit a trip. I'm coming around on that idea.
They've run 19 races on the Tapeta the month of August at 1 mile and 1/16. There's no bias at that distance. I think there were 2 of the 19 were wire-to-wire jobs. The rest weren't. You've got to be in the first pack. It's not like you can come from, especially today, you're not going to be able to come if you're not up at the first pack. But we'll see what the speed horses do and whether or not they can carry it at all. You guys expect the 1 to be on the front engine?
I do. I mean, I had 1-2 being 1-2.
Emily, if you could do me a favor, just tell me what's the optics fig on the 1?
Optics figures?
The fig, the speed fig.
His last 3 races, he's been 90, 86, 85. That's from the bottom up.
So that's got to be in the range, right?
He's in range, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's with him. I mean, he could definitely. What do you see? I mean, in terms of trip, that being the 1 and the 2 that are out there, like a best of the speed scenario, because he's not going to clear and get lone, especially with the 5 in the race.
No, but he's faster than the 2, I think.
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I think they're pretty close, and the 5 is right there. If I'm looking kind of at their at their current form, the 1 and 2 are right there, and then the 5. I know it's a surface change, but in terms of standard being his current form, he's just as fast as the 1 into the first call.
And Emma's a much stronger rider than either Bayan or Hoyt. So if she wants to sit off, she's going to know that she's going to be able to take them, especially if they start eating each other up. the question I have is, okay, so Tiller, the 7, has shown me that he doesn't want to start running till there's about 3/16 left. I don't think that's a good thing to do today. I think he'll be pretty far back. Yeah. The 8, Florida 1, is all class. I understand that. But that horse has shown me this year in those 2 races that he doesn't want to win. They like to be a bridesmaid. The 9, Attard and Stein. I think Kevin Attard over the next 10 years is going to become the #1 trainer at Woodbine.
Wow.
He's certainly the up-and-coming guy, if he's not there already. He's of the three low prices. The 9 would be my choice to be in the X. But I'm looking outside to see if I can fill the rest of my exacta with prices.
Feels like you could get one here. A couple of viewer comments. Bruce here putting his dough on Raffy, so that'll be the 8-horse Florida 1. Interestingly, Hernandez, in addition to riding this horse last out, was also up for this horse's previous win, which was at this level, again, similar last July. So Raffy back up, obviously, on this horse and doing well when he's been on this horse. Our buddy Sean here, let's pad the bankroll for this weekend. That sounds like a plan. Let's definitely do that. And our guy, Daily Double, SW. 9 looks good to him. So he's going to do some keys with the 9 over the 2-5 overall and 9 all 2-5. So I think sort of blending some of what he's heard here from everybody in this group. Ashley, back to you real quick. How would you bet this race at this point? If you're, we talked about who you like, but how do you structure a bet for this race?
One of them that I already punched is I'm going to play a try with the 5 and 9 on top. I'm going to single the 8 for a second. I kind of agree that he doesn't want to win. I still think his first effort off the layoff, he had issues in that race and he probably could have won it. I also don't know if I think that 7.5 furlongs is his preferred distance. I mean, he's running well, but I'd like to see him just looking at his other races, mile and a 16th when he was second, beaten by 3/4 of a length. When he missed on the turf at a mile, I mean, 7.5 might be just a little short for him. But I liked his first effort back better than his second.
I feel like we've been tough on Florida 1.
Yeah, so I am going to play a try with him, and I'm just going to single him for second in one of my tries. Just based on what I've seen, I still think he could possibly, depending where he is early on, I don't think he's going to be that far off the pace. I think he's going to be in a good spot. Which with the wind is kind of where I'd want to be. And then the horses I'm going to use underneath, you guys kind of talked me onto the 3. I wasn't really looking at the 3. I'm still going to use the 4, and then I'll use the 5, 7, and 9 behind. Because I'm singling the second spot, I can kind of load up. And with Woodbine, you have those 20-cent minimums, so you can play whatever denomination you want. But yeah, that's my main bet's going to be a try. I'm going to look at the doubles since Emily's gotten me on those the last how many weeks now. So
the best bet at Woodbine, win bets and doubles, lowest takeout on the track.
15%, and it's an underutilized pool.
Right.
For some reason, the doubles are underutilized.
So let's talk about that. Actually, we've got 5 minutes. We can kind of do a little bit of a look ahead to the finale. Sheldon, have you had a chance to kind of look ahead and start setting up those doubles for?
No, I did not look ahead. You guys go ahead and I'll look now.
Emily, any thoughts on the double?
Gosh, it's tough. 3 horses I kind of keyed in there. I'm trying to look at the low pays right now. 9 being obvious. I think the 10 is the value in the race, in that race. So that horse is a much used 9, 10, and then 3 and 5 logical. I think 5 will be a good price as well. Oh, actually taking quite a bit. But yeah, that's sort of where need value. Okay. Yeah. 10, 9, 3, 5.
I knew you'd throw the 11 out. I thought the 11 had a real shot, but I mean, it's the kind of horse that I think you would throw out. The long shot that I like in that last race, by the way, is the 7 horse, Freshie in the Forest. The shortest double price to the 7 is $215. 8-7 is 215. I think that's one to take.
He's a closer though, yeah.
Let me see. Pull up the notes here.
I feel like I've been chasing that guy like all meet because he runs such good races. I have him like marked as like a good like underneath key. Not one that you want at a short price because she kind of creates those trips, which have baited me in so many times, and now I'm like, all right, I've seen it. Like, I need some meat on the bone. Mess with you.
No, it's fair. I mean, look, she finds trouble too, and she's had some issues. Last time checked really badly, but I like the way she kicked on. But yeah, she's going to be at least 4 or 5 lengths off of it, and we'll need some some pace to develop, which there could be. I didn't get a great feel. What are you feeling on pace for the next race? What does it look like?
Let me click over real quick. I'll just say the one note that I had on the 11 is I was just worried because the horse always breaks slow, and with the outside post, that was my knock there. In terms of pace, it doesn't look that crazy. The 4 maybe has to kind of upgrade a little bit in that spot. 6 and 9 tracking. The 10 has some kind of sneaky speed, so one to throw in there, but it doesn't look incredibly hot. Yeah, in terms of pace.
Okay. Sheldon, have we let you catch up here?
The first horse that caught my eye really quickly is the 4.
Okay.
I don't like the favorite, and I think the favorite's going to be the 9.
Mm-hmm.
What about the 11? Is that post too far outside for you folks?
That's what I was saying, is that she tends tends to break slow, and then being outside. So yeah, I mean, if that happens and then she has to clear, that was pretty much it. And that just those factors at a short price, but logical, right? 7-2 on the morning line, had a trip last time out and can improve, but kind of like we've seen a lot of these horses in here, they kind of tend to create their own trips. You just have to be aware of that.
Yep. Now, the 4 was interesting. Are there any scratches in the race?
There aren't, no. And I think logically, you look at it's 4 and 6 are the speed. I mean, if they just run back to their, to the way they run previously, I mean, are they going to burn each other out? I mean, potentially. Does one go? I don't know. I don't know which one's faster. They both look
pretty similar. What about the 5?
Yeah, the 5 is legit, I think. Trip and class ending up, yeah.
Ashley, what are you thinking for doubles?
The 5 is my top pick.
Okay.
I was looking for a price. I know in the doubles, the horse isn't actually that much value, but it's better than some in there. But to me, I mean, I think looking at this horse this year, I mean, pretty consistent. First race back was in for that 7,500, going 6.5, and then next time out again 6.5. They switched it up, got her on the turf, and that's where she's done most of her racing throughout her career. I mean, she is 7. She's only got those 2 lifetime wins. I thought her effort last time out, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a great ride from Steve Behan, and he's back aboard today. So I was looking for a price. I thought, the 11 is one that you'd have to use. For me, the order was all the horses we talked about. I ordered them 5, 9, 11, 4. A horse that I would maybe use for third on a ticket. I just don't think the horse is going to get the perfect trip, not especially under the conditions today, is the 1, Claire Essence. This is a horse I would use underneath on a drive, depending what the price is. I think the price will be right because I do think the 9 and the 11 are going to take most of the action, and then probably the 5 from there.
Okay. Gio Ponte weighing in with a ticket here. $5 daily double, 3-7 with 1-3-4-11. Good luck to everyone watching and betting along with us. Yeah. My bets here really revolved around the 4 and the 8. I'd go ahead and take a shot at this horse, 22-1. Like I said, I think if the horse can rediscover some form, like all of these, if any of these horses can rediscover some form, they'll be dangerous. As Sheldon pointed out earlier, all of these horses have seen better days, and so who knows? We might be in for a little bit of a surprise here. So I should be able to get audio up here. Let me know if you hear the sound.
And Frankie Barone.
Yep.
All right.
Goes in. All in and locked up. off their race and a great start. The Boss Factor charging out in front of the centre on a mission to get the lead, a length to Court Battle in third courtly manner. Frankie Barone on the extreme outside next from Florida 1, then 5 for effect, Bourbon Extension and Guitar George. Getting that lead clearly, the Boss Factor, and is going to make them work. The Boss Factor rushing out 2 lengths in front, and now relaxes just as I speak. In second placing is Court Battle. A battle length away, Courtly Manor third from 5 for effect. In the centre, Florida 1, and a bit wider, Frankie Barone. Bourbon Extension on the inside getting cover, and a length away last is Guitar George. The Boss Factor mixes things up a little bit again, gets out in front at a good pace, leads up the backstretch by a length and a half. In second placing is Court Battle, 1 away, Courtly Manor. Room up the inside, for effect. A length and a half, Frankie Barone having a wide trip. Bourbon Extension, the rail, Florida 1 between them.
Is that Patrick on the rail?
George's
Looks a great trip for the 3. No excuse from there.
Lead down to a length to Court Battle. 1 away, Courtly Manor. 5 for effect on the inside. 2.5 to Frankie Barone, trying to pick up ground. Florida 1 yet to get involved. Bourbon Extension the inside. And last is Guitar George. The Boss Factor still out in front. A length to Court Battle, ranging up easily. They're out by 2.5 to Courtly Manor. 5 for effect, and Frankie Barone. Court Battle comes alongside for the lead here. They go to the quarter.
Oh, isn't this lovely?
Florida 1, Guitar George, and Bourbon Extension. Guitar George is winding up well. Court Battle's hit the front.
Tiller's coming, but look, does he have enough time?
He's got it. He's got momentum. He's even on the left lead.
Run and has steamed on by. And it's Guitar George coming away with a big win. Guitar George is going to score by about 3 lengths. Going into second late is Florida 1, and it's a very nice performance by Guitar George. Make it 2.5. Florida 1 Court Battle, and on the inside, the Boss Factor, 44.52.
Well, the 2 horses who have kind of just been plodding along, especially that 7.
Hey, that's my Bet Woodbine TV horse right there, number 7.
There you go. Okay, well.
Yeah, overcame all the obstacles to win that race. Race of his life, maybe, this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was a big move. I mean, the horse was so far back. I mean, and really, I mean.
He was close enough to get him.
Yeah.
He was the furthest back at the first and second point of call.
Yeah.
Well, this ticket's still alive. Gio Ponte live for $5 to a couple of horses there. I think this is a trifecta bet. If it is, no good, but not too far off. So all right, and then obviously Sean here I think this was a mid-race message that he sent us, just trying to will the 1 to stay up there. So look, Sheldon, great call there. I mean, look, with Emma and the 5 getting to the front, I mean, I think probably went a little fast there in that second quarter. If she could have slowed it,
it was her best chance to win.
Yeah,
and I think that's what Emma does.
Mm-hmm.
She puts horses in position where they can win. If they're good enough, they do. Anyway, I want to thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. You guys have been terrific. I've been watching you all summer as you've been doing this, and good luck to all of you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Sheldon. Great to connect with you. Looking forward to seeing you in person at some point.
Okay,
right.
When they open up the border again.
Exactly. Be well. Take it easy.
Take care.
All right. Well, that was fun. A little bit of added perspective. It was pretty cool. When he was chiming in a couple of weeks ago, I didn't realize that Woodbine was his track. I mean, it makes sense now. He was, he's dominant. He was crushing it last week, and even here, I mean, I thought he offered some pretty interesting insights. If you haven't played Woodbine, or if you just started to play it along with us, it's a little bit of a tricky track. I mentioned to you, Emily, last 2 weeks ago that I do find, at least for me, like I find it. And I found it surprising that I've been able to find so many winners at good prices. Like I feel like, last Thursday or this week for the most part, shorter prices. But look, 7-2, and like Sheldon said when we started, the 7 and 8 were probably the 2 most logical horses on paper, and you got them both at 7-2. Now we both like overanalyzed this thing to death. But if you looked at it logically, I mean, those were probably the 2 class horses in the race. So you can find
Well,
prices.
the nine as well, but the nine had like almost a complete excuse for how wide he was, and he still ran on late. But that horse made sense, and I think he's a watch next time out. He just didn't get a trip here, but yeah, it was more, this is what happens like when you're playing horses, and this is something that you should do is you have to adjust the board, and you have to adjust to a track profile that is doing one thing over another, right? To upgrade and downgrade horses. I mean, this is the only horse all day long that I've seen, that at least in my memory, that has been able to make that kind of move. And win. And I mean, the eight was kind of never winning. I mean, he had a better trip being covered up, and just does what he does, which is just kind of grind along. And the 1 and the 5 are tiring late. So yeah, it's. Maybe he doesn't fire or something. We get, a different outcome or something like that. But I think it is important to just kind of adjust with those factors in front of you.
Giovanni, appreciating the knowledge and the stories from Sheldon. We did as well. And then Jake, very observant.
They're not claws. It's the same one. And I can't say the brand because it's not claws. So.
And they're not a sponsor.
There you go.
But call us if you want in. All right, we should be a few moments away from Robert Reid Jr. joining us for the harness hour, which will be at 7 o'clock, racing from Woodbine Mohawk. We've got a little bit of time here, so let's take a quick look at the board here for the finale at Woodbine. The 9 Piquette opens up as the favorite, 3-1 morning line, 5-2. Post to Post, the 11, 4-1 right now. Sailing By, one of the horses we talked about a little while ago, as one of the speed horses in here, 5-1. And then you got a couple of horses in the 6-1 range. Dad's Missy, the 3, and Carolina Grace, who a couple of people liked, including Ashley, as a top pick here at 6-1. And then everything else, double digits. Interestingly, Emily, the 10 that you like, not yet taking that much action, 15-1 down to 12-1. That's got to be a
yeah. I mean, I figured as much. I had the feeling that this horse was going to get ignored for a couple reasons. One, I mean, there's not a lot of turf for him. She has just one other race on the turf. It was her second career start, so it's pretty much buried down there. But as you can see, last time out, there was some intention to run on the turf. That race in her second start. It wasn't bad. It was a 4th place finish against maiden special weight, second start, going 5 furlongs. I'm not concerned with surface really. She can kind of beat me, especially 12-1. I can handle those unknowns. The key with her, she's coming out of just a much tougher race. That August 2nd race is just much tougher than anything in this field. So she has that class edge. All the horses that have come back out of that race have improved 10 points, which is just massive. So you're getting the value on the horse because if you're looking at the standard PPs, it's not, she's not exciting. There's slow speed figures in those most recent starts, but this is, again, significant class drop. There's improvement possible. And just kind of anything, that surface change was unknown. But I think that's that price where she's at right now is probably where she's going to be. Looking at the doubles, kind of seems that's going to be around that range, no less than kind of double digits. So should stick.
My man JD Fox truly believes Ashley. I like that. Well done, JD.
Wrong again.
They're coming after
the puns are coming.
Yeah. Ashley, we heard a little bit about the way you looked at this race. I talked about speed and you've got the 4 and the 6 potentially going. How are you envisioning this race unfolding?
I mean, I think you're right. The 4 and the 6 are going to go. I think the 9 just going to be right off of them. I think the 5 last time out. Yes, this horse was, if you look at got to watch the replay, but I mean, this horse wasn't too far off of it, no more than 2 lengths off the pace. So For me, I mean, I think Emily brings up a valid point. It's just a very different class level. But look at the last race. I mean, no horse all day has come from the clouds like that. So that's not what I'm looking for in this race necessarily. I mean, I still think horses can maybe get a minor share, but the top two, I think you're going to want to be involved in the race somewhat early on. I mean, they're going 7 furlongs. I just thought Carolina Grace, I mean, kind of fell flat late last year and then, had the time off. Looks like had the whole winter off, to be honest. And it seems like it suited her well. And she's performed consistently well so far this season. I just thought seeing a big effort on the turf last time out, that kind of sold me on her at the price. I mean, for me, 7-1, that's great. I did like the 9 as probably a logical horse, and I'm not surprised that this horse is favored. I didn't think the horse would be like heavily favored or anything, so 5-2 is probably the range I thought, not too far off the morning line. The 11, I don't know. I'm torn on the 11 for kind of the same reasons that Emily mentioned. I also thought, the second lifetime win was a good effort. It was in for a 25 tag. Last time it was for 25 tag, and kind of looking at how it wasn't a perfect trip. Finished 4th. Now you're dropping in for 15. Maybe you're just looking for a spot, but this is a mare that consistently gets beaten. And that's reflected in her record. I'm not just saying because, kind of looking at the conditions of the race, it's non-winners of 3 life. I mean, look at her record. I mean, she finishes second often and doesn't get everything to go her way. And I don't like the post. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just basically the 5 and the 9. I mentioned Claire Essence, the 1. This is a horse that I could use underneath on the ticket. Really didn't love the effort last time out, but now it's dropping in for a 15 tag. I thought the effort 2 back was pretty decent, especially considering that she broke slow. But I think, we talked about the 4 sailing by a little while ago. I think if you like the 1, kind of looking at their efforts out of that race 2 back for the 1, you're probably going to use the 4 as well.
Well, look who decided to join us.
Who decided? I didn't have a link.
I keep sending Robert email at the wrong email address.
Right.
You have too many letters, and I should just be RRJ. That extra R for junior, or it's just be RR. Like the extra R messes me up.
Well, it's Robert Reid Jr. though. So it'd be RR.
I emailed him once at RRJ without the R, and that's like the default one that keeps coming up, and I keep clicking on. So anyhow, it was my bad. I'll take it. I just had to, heckle you a little bit to start. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing well. So this is actually the last night in this house because our closing day is tomorrow. So
there you go.
There's nothing left. I had to make a makeshift chair because I forgot we moved all the chairs out. So I created like a true degenerate. I created a chair out of a box, and and I found Seabiscuit too.
Nice.
You could have sat on that, been like a writing,
Official movie.
That reminds me, Ashley never did her show and tell with the blinkers.
No.
That's true.
Can you do it now?
Okay, yeah, but hold on.
I can take you off the screen if you want.
Yeah, take me off video.
All right. All right. Well, let her. We were supposed to show you this like 6 weeks ago, and we never did.
It was.
So
it was a while ago.
So we'll get it tonight. It'll be pretty cool. We got some throwback blinkers. We've also got racing. Let's see if we can pull this up from Woodbine Mohawk. 3 minutes. There we go.
Especially if they come early on.
Great.
3
By the
minutes
way,
away.
huge weekend this past weekend. Robert and Ashley anchored our coverage of North America Cup night. What were some of your takeaways? Love the show. A lot of people watched. It was really a great group of guests you had on too. But what were some of your big takeaways?
Well, from the show, I was super impressed by Bob McClure calling his shot. No one's ever done that, right? No one goes on there and answers a question and says, "I'm going to be on the front," and that's my strategy. And if they don't like it, this is what's happening. So I was super impressed by that. And obviously told our stranger is just an absolute machine. I mean, the horse is just a winner, a champion, did just enough to win his elimination, and then just pulverize him in the final, right? And for the North American Cup, and I love that horse. Making history, but again, I was still looking back at it. I still couldn't believe that Bob McClure came on and was just so confident. And a horse that was, obviously he was second or third choice, but up against Tall Dark Stranger and to be that confident to go to the lead, then sit the 2-hole, finish second, that was really cool for me.
Yeah, he was confident not only in the way he was going to drive, he was also confident no one was watching, apparently, because
I know.
He was like, I may as well just blurt it out. No one's going to see this anyway.
I've always had drivers play coy with what they're going to do, and he was not at all. He was just, bam. I'm going
well, we had strength in numbers. By the time we had him on, we had like 6 people on the screen. So he was like, "Whoa!" He's like, "I didn't realize I was walking into this." Let me tell him what's up. Ashley, do you want to do the big reveal now, or should we wait until after
this race? No, we should handicap the race.
Okay, I guess we should handicap. All right, Ashley or Robert, who wants first stab at this one?
Author of the Horse Players Journal always starts first. It's a golden rule.
Go ahead, Robert.
Well, listen. You know what? The cool thing about tonight, Dan's gonna love it. There's one common theme, and that's 2-year-olds. First 3 races. But the cool thing is we've got eliminations for the Peaceful Way. So the first race, this is for 2-year-old fillies. The top 5 make the final next week. And then second race, we've got the William Wellwood elimination. Same thing, top 5 make the final. The neat thing about that race next week is the winner gets a free spot into the Mohawk Million. And then the third race is for non-winners of 1. So we know we're probably going to see, some misbehaving on the track. But again, the first 2 races are real high quality, rookie trotters. And we're starting off with the fillies in the Peaceful Way. And right now, so this horse is taking all the money. Lady Chaos was actually the horse that I landed on, coming up from, for me, the horse is an invader. For everyone, most people watching, he's local. She's local to you guys, but she was racing on the Kentucky Sire Stakes last time. Got beat by Darlene Hanover, who's an absolute monster in her own right. But she went to the half in 54 flat, which is ridiculous by even like pacing standards for a youngster. And I just think that today Jingrao will throttle her speed and she'll get the job done. She's 4-5 right now. Dicentra is the horse I wanted to play against, which is the 6, 9-5 right now on the board. Use that horse for third. Definitely a nice trotting filly from Rock Solid Connections and Luke Blay and Bob McClure. But I kind of go to the 2. I'm extra special for the second spot, or maybe even as an upsetter. Last time, really got a horrific trip in the Champlain. Paul Walker's got an arsenal of just wickedly fast trotters right now. Trevor Henry back in the bike, 2 starts ago at Grand River, pulverized the field in an OSS Gold. So I would lean to playing the 4 over the 2 or boxing the 2 and the 4. But I do respect the 6 in Dicentra. The horse is a real nice horse. My 4th pick was Fox Valley Liza. The thing that's interesting, though, and what makes this race difficult, the top 5 make the final. So, much like we saw Tattoo Artist in the North NA Cup, he did not leave out in his elimination. He got away and then looked for room, took an easy trip, and made the final. He was certainly trying to weave traffic and win in his elimination. It didn't work out, but he solidified a spot in the final. So we always have to kind of be careful of that. And you're going to want to look for a horse that, maybe might, sneak up and try to get the job done this week, because the winners do pick their post. But what do you think, Ashley?
I think Lady Chaos is the one to beat easily. You mentioned Darlene Hanover, so I saw her win the Doherty at the Meadowlands, and I'm trying to think. Andy McCarthy was in the bike up for Darlene Hanover. It was pretty impressive. And she's beaten Darlene Hanover. So I hate to use those as comparisons, but I think in a race like this, to me, just the horses that Lady Chaos has faced are just better than the rest of this group. And I think Linda coming up here is a sign too. I talked to Linda a bunch in New Jersey, and she wasn't traveling too much. They went to Kentucky, obviously, for the Kentucky Sire Stakes, but to me, this is the one to beat. I also am going to try to beat Dicentra, but I go to the 1. I go to the horse on the inside. I really like Fox Valley Liza, especially at 12-1. I'm a little shocked by that. Just even looking at the morning line, I'm extra special was double that on the morning line and is less than half her price. So for me, I just thought last time out in that gold level, I know it was at Grand River, this horse had the inside, but just won quite easily and wasn't even on top right at the beginning. We always talk about kind of having that inside post, and you kind of have to go. You don't want to be shuffled back too far. And she got up there eventually, but she didn't have this inside trip. I believe, if I remember right, she had to go a little bit to the outside and kind of work her way out to the front. So for me, I like that. If you look at a race before that, here at Woodbine in Mohawk Park. She had the 9-hole. She doesn't have that today. She hasn't, she 4 starts in that Pure Ivory. That was a pretty bad effort. You can see she's been heavily favored throughout her races. So for me at 13-1, I'm going to use her for second. I'll actually probably play in her box. You just don't know what happens. So I'll also probably box her with the 4. Then I'll use Dicentra. But for me, those are the only 3 I wrote down. To me, they were kind of the clear-cut horses.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I mean, the thing is that right now 3 to 5 on Lady Chaos, you can't really bet her flat, obviously. And I think we're both in the right neighborhood to play the 4 over the 1-2, and then maybe even back it up. Because you're not going to get any kind of value playing a 4-6 here, that's for sure. And I think the 6 is definitely vulnerable tonight, especially at the odds of 2 to 1.
Whenever Ashley mentions a long shot, especially in these harness races, I immediately throw a couple of dollars on. You've been known to hit a bomb or 2 in the harness races, second half of the show, just about every week. So I'm going to throw a couple of bucks on the 1 horse. Maybe we'll get something happen. Maybe a few horses will go off stride as expected. Emily, since we're not really the harness pros here, do you want to do a side bet on which horse goes off stride first?
You're asking
like me and you, side bet which horse goes off stride first. You don't need any actual knowledge to pick a number on this.
Oh, you need knowledge for that.
Isn't it random?
That's not random.
Well,
is it random?
There's horses that are
no way. That's gonna be like break slow. Like they do
the
thing, right?
Horse at a starting gate. If they are off slow 4 out of 5, are you going to use the horse that breaks sharp every time, or the one that stumbles 4 out of 5 for this wager? I think the one that stumbles.
Right. So I have no. So what? I guess you're making my point. Like you have to have some knowledge.
It's Derby week, and you're already trying to make these weird side bets.
I've seen just as many favorites go off stride as I have long shots. So I don't know.
There's no way. If that was the case, like I'm not going to say what I'm about to say here.
I might try to run the gauntlet here and say no horses break stride this race.
All right.
I'm going with the 6. Give me the 6.
You're going with Dicentra. No breaks in her career.
Wow, Dan, you've really taken a plunge.
You guys know you want to throw a number out. Come on. It is Derby week. It's time to gamble. Gamble with me. All right, I'm going to put the sound on here.
Get her down.
I'm going to say no one breaks. These are well-behaved fillies.
Back to go on the outside to Lady Chaos. She just rides parked out 5th there. 6th inside to Serenity.
I sent her right to the top. Could be a problem for us.
Yeah, I put her in the winner's circle.
28 and 3. So McClure's at the tactical advantage. He's put his filly Dicentra up front.
Been on fire.
Away by 2 open lengths. I'm Express Special 2nd. Fox Valley lies at 3rd. Spruce Creek 4th. 5th inside to Lady Chaos. Trotting 6th is Serenity Joy.
Our price horse is sitting 2nd and 3rd, but Lady Chaos needs to get rolling. Coming now, first up.
The field across the backstretch. Jingra's going to get underway here, just on the way to the midway point from 5th to 4th. Now 3rd outside.
Rush, kinda.
Lady Chaos. The opening half, though, belongs to McClure and Dicentra.
30 seconds, second quarter. Not good.
Seconds, and it's Dicentra going into the final turn here outside. Lady Chaos.
Not good for anyone except for the 6.
That's correct.
Special. Fox Valley lies a 4th. 5th inside to Spruce Creek. 6th overland is Serenity Joy and Amazon Do It All yet to get involved. They come to 3/4, and it's Dicentra on a lead of a length.
Going to be a sprint home.
Second to the outside. I'm Extra Special back into 3rd, moving off the rail 4th. Fox Valley lies at 3/4 in 1:26.
Again, top 5 make the final.
They come into the stretch, and they come into that pesky
don't expect anything too aggressive.
And it is Dicentra clear by 2 lengths.
The one's coming now.
Second is I'm Extra Special. Lady Chaos starting to level off. The outside 4th is Fox Valley lies. McClure won this one at the half. And it's all over.
Lights out at the half.
All right, Robert wins the side bet.
3 lengths. Second was I'm Extra Special.
6 to something. Either the 1 or the 4. Well, I mean, the 4, it's tough to win off that trip when they walk to the half like that. 1 to 2, I mean, definitely no value. I mean, the Dicentra was 2 to 1 morning line. The favorite morning line goes off at 2 to 1 and crushes them on the front end. But you can see, like, there's no one that can trot with her after she gets the half of 58 and 3 there. The race is over. So the final will probably be a different story.
Our friend Gio Ponte there with the ticket. So through 1. There you go. Let's see.
Action there.
1, 2, 4, 6. I think this one. I think my dad hit something. That's
Yeah,
good.
looks like a winner.
There we go. Congrats. Did we get the 4 out of there entirely? That could be good.
4 and
Finished fourth or
4, the third. Yeah, it's a photo.
Oh, all right.
Well,
All right. As this video keeps bugging out, Ashley, let's see it.
My grand reveal. I brought 2 things. I feel like we could have played show and tell for this entire thing. Because as I grabbed this, I said I have this really cool win photo from like the 40s from Woodbine. So these I bought at the Bourbon County Fairgrounds. It's outside of Paris, Kentucky. They have a Secretariat Festival every year. And I don't know, I bought them from some lady because I thought this would be cool. We collect the most random stuff. So these are blinkers that I don't know how old they are because they're actually made out of leather cups. There's also still the price tag on them. They were $5, and it says vintage blinkers, not functional. None of the straps work. They're all like broken, tarnished, and stuff, but they're really cool. So we hang them up in our house.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Did they give
on Antiques Roadshow and like
Yeah.
get the story.
No, speaking of antiques, and this is like one of the coolest photos we have. I looked this up. This is at Northampton Park, which was in Ohio, and now it's just like grass and like I think development land. But we got this either, I believe we were in somewhere in like Massachusetts at an antique shop. We always look for random stuff. So the horse was named Flag. This was in June of 1936.
Wow.
So
I got full
you got
credit
like
on
3
those.
photos. You got the finish, you got the owners, and their
That's
child.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
we
a
have, like,
good
bunch of
find.
old stuff, this random stuff. And then I was trying to find a spot for it, but it was really cool. Our racing secretary had a photo from when Northern Dancer broke his maiden at Fortery.
Oh,
And
that's
she has
awesome.
like one of the originals, and she like told me about it. And then about 3 months later, she's like, "Oh, I have something to send you," and she sent me her copy, like the original, in the mail.
Whoa.
So
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
put that up. I gotta find a good home for it on my wall. But yes, we have like random stuff, like thousands of dollars of. Hopefully, the house never catches on fire. That's all I'm gonna say.
I do wonder if there's got to be a good story behind those blinkers, right? I mean, somebody was kind of saving them for some
I don't know.
reason.
You just wonder where they come from. I mean, they're like pretty generic color scheme, like you would see this
Yeah.
anywhere. But yeah, I have no clue. You always wonder where that stuff comes from.
Yeah. Emily, you said you're not a collector, right?
You know what? I'm not. I've tried to cut it all out. Less material things.
Yep, I feel you. Very cool. Well, thank you for that, Ashley.
You're welcome. Show and tell's over.
All right, we've seen some of Robert's goods, some of the wrestling cards and autographs and that sort of memorabilia. So we'll when we bring this show back next year, we'll have to do. It has to become like a regular segment every week.
Show and tell. Yep.
I love it. All right, let's get back to the last race of the night at Woodbine.
3 minutes.
Let's see if there are any dramatic shifts here in odds. Doesn't look like it. Looks like the 5 that you like took a little bit more money there, 6-1. Robert, we've been neglecting to allow you to chime in on some of these some weeks. Did you have any thoughts on this race?
Yeah, I kind of like the 1 Clear Essence.
Okay.
It came down to trying to map it out, and I thought the 11 would be the favorite, or at least right now co-favorite, and I thought the 1 Clear Essence raced better than the 11 last time. Second start off the claim, dropping down. This horse just looked like one that might be worth a play at a price, and at 12-1, I think that is in the right neighborhood. So I would say 1, 11, 11, 1, but I would certainly play the 1 flat at 12-1.
Yeah, I didn't mind the 1 either myself.
I'm bothered by the 1.
You're bothered by the 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock the horse at a price, but just again, like we were talking about the last race, she's off slow every single time. So when you're breaking slow from the rail, and you can see in her running lines how far back she is, could be really far back, in this race going 7 furlongs, we'll see. So that was just, my concern with a horse like this, is just in terms of trip. She does come running on late. You can see that in the finish, which, catches people's eye, but that repetitive, slow start is problematic.
All right. Ashley, how are you betting this race?
I'm currently in the process. For me, I like the 5 and the 9, so I'm going to put them on top. They're my standouts. I'm just going to play a try here. I know. I think, Emily, you said you like the 10 a little bit, right?
A lot. And a lot more at this price.
Yeah, because I'm trying to price shop here. And to me, when you're looking
Throw
at
the
a
7
horse,
in. Throw the 7 in.
The seven's a good use underneath, 100%. Maybe even on top. I don't know. I think trip-wise, but I agree with Dan. Not impossible.
I just put a decent win place bet in, and I kind of backwheeled her on a couple of tickets. I mean, look, I was waiting for. I mean, I wanted to see the horse maybe take a little bit of money, so I like maybe feel like I'm not just absolutely crazy for what I saw. But I watched all these replays. I have it all. I've seen it visually. My eyes can't possibly have been lying to me.
Your eyes are right. Like I said, I saw all the stuff as you, but I've been chasing, I'm riding her up, oh my God, this horse totally run. So to me, I mean, I want to see this horse at 25-1 because you don't want to take a short price on a horse that creates trouble for herself. You need everything to go right. You want some meat on the bone.
High five with a great carryover.
I mean, look, 2 back. Just look at that 2 back race. I mean, the horse had beaten 2 lengths with traffic. And then last out was 4-1. I mean, again, against
3-1 post to post.
I mean, these horses are essentially, these are non-3 bottom level here. I mean, 4-1 last time, 25-1 now.
We also have stakes.
Jump in.
I'm using the 7 for third, but I can't use that
Get
horse
some.
any higher.
Robert, get some.
Listen, I'm a big Leo Salas fan. He's snake bitten right now. I'm a big Leo Salas. So I can get behind him.
I have my reservations about the 7. I used the 7 for third in a ticket, but to see into the horse face last year, some of those races, third's as high as I can go on a ticket.
Yeah, that's all right. Look, you have a strong opinion on the 5, so
sailing by gate 4.
Hopefully,
Carolina Grace is about to link up.
That'll work out. Let me see if I get the audio back here. Oh, has it been going this whole time?
Yeah.
I think just since the harness through, it has been.
Okay.
So not bad.
Fresh in the Forest, who made some interference last start, is at 29-1 odds.
Emily, we usually let you go right after this last race, but I do want to get some Derby thoughts from you. So,
happy to do it. Yep.
He's had a double so far. He rides the second favorite now, PK.
I also know that'll get all the viewers to stick around. So
is about to link up. And to the
I'll tell everyone. You guys have to wait till the end of this race. I'm going to tell you how Tis the Law loses.
Ooh,
drums.
That's a tease.
I need some music for that.
Or you could listen to any podcast I've been on in the last week.
Second last is Fresh in the Forest, and PK's won the start, pushing for the lead. Warning bell, and on the inside
let's
is
see.
By to hit the front.
4-6 up front.
Them tucking
4-6
in
up
Gizmo
front.
Flash a little bit, and Dad's Missy darts up in the center. On the inside is 2020 Crest, and then Mummy
10 broke with speed, and then they took back.
Carolina Grace with room
about
on
when
the
you're
inside.
wide, but
The Forest and Clear Essence is last. 5/8 to run, sailing by in front, a length to Warning Bell. 2 to PK, drops in third. Dad's Missy is fourth. And they came out by 2.5 to Gizmo Flash, a length and a half.
I hated this trip from the 5 from the get-go.
Post to post. Third last, Carolina Grace. They're well strung out. Then Freshie in the Forest and Clear Essence is last. Still out in front, sailing by on the inside.
Anytime now, Freshie.
About 3 away, PK making ground. Dad's Missy the inside, then Gizmo Flash, post to post. Mummy does Chica. Carolina Grace behind Freshie in the Forest, well back turning, and on the outside it's Warning Bell. Out in front with Sailing By, and PK comes at them down the center of the track. PK ranges up to burst to the front. Gizmo Flash on the outside, post to post. Clear Essence from last. PK got a commanding lead. Gizmo Flash.
Come on, someone get on here.
PK's lead.
You got one coming if you need that horse for underneath. Maybe 1-7 underneath.
It is PK in front. Clear Essence with a
10's not giving up.
PK on the inside.
Battle 10, battle.
PK by 2 lengths to Clear Essence. Gizmo Flash a good
9-1-10. Did that work for you, Ashley?
Yeah, I got the try for 40.
There you go. All right, that's a nice try. Very good.
Thank you for the 10.
No problem.
You look at the 10 when we were talking a little bit about price. Like if you're looking for a horse at double digits, at that point, the horses, like the 7 was in the 20s, the 3 was almost 10-1. The 10 was the best value at that point.
10 10 ran a good race. I'm not crazy with the rider tactics early. I mean, the horse broke like right on top, and to like take back when you're wide, it's like where are you going to go from there? You know, what are you going to do from that position? So to stay on for third after that is, you know, ran a good race, got run out of it, as expected.
I was just about to take a deep breath and then make a big excuse for the 7, but I'm not going to. Just going to leave it.
Hopped at the start, made a move. does what she does every time.
Oh, that was disappointing. Very disappointing. Hey, 62-1 in 4th. Mamacita or Mamita's Chica. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Well, good. It was a good team effort there. I didn't contribute, but even Robert with Claire Essence, Emily with Gizmo Flash, and then Ashley cashing all the money. So
needed some. I've been making lots of donations this week.
All right, we'll leave this up and wait for. Do you want to wait for the payouts, or are you good with this?
It's okay. I got my tablet.
Okay, we'll take this down. All right, Emily, Derby.
All right.
You want to talk Oaks first? Anybody beating Gamine or Swiss Skydiver?
Yeah. I think both those horses can get beat. Let me pull it up real quick because I just don't have it in front of me. I'm gonna have to go off memory. As far as Swiss Skydiver and Gamine, they're both super good horses. I mean, we've seen them. Gamine, it's just going to be, you know, another test for her, just distance-wise, in this type of classy field. As far as Swiss Skydiver, my knock on her just has to do with form, coming back off a pretty taxing race. I know people aren't going to see it as such because, she's geared down and all that, but she has to run at any point of the race. It's going to take something out of her. I just think in terms of form cycle in this spot, I think she could be vulnerable for that perspective. You know, I kind of just, you know, I had to kind of go through and be like, okay, that's my knock on Gamine, and that's my knock on the Skydiver. You know, speech seems like the most logical, but it kind of seems that that's where everybody's going. So I'm going to go Donna Veloce, and it's crazy because I liked her, but I haven't loved her like the way people did going into the Breeders' Cup. Just thought she was, you know, the next best thing. I thought she was just kind of rushed along. But I've been watching her work coming into this race, and she looks fantastic. And I just think if you know, those horses with Skydiver, Gamine, you know, speed, she ends up, you know, not being quite good enough or whatever. A horse that's coming into this race the right way, coming peaked, and I think that's Donna Veloce. Not real strong on beating those horses, so I mean, I think they're all kind of, you know, uses. I couldn't get outside of that group, but I did use Donna Veloce on top. Speaking of form cycle, I'll kind of go over to the Derby. That's the deal with Tiz the Law. And so, you know, if you look at Tiz the Law in terms of class, in terms of speed figures, there's nothing wrong with him, right? He's fast, he's classy enough, he fits at this level, just, you know, he's kind of the top in the division. But the one thing about him is just, they're kind of one of the same. In terms of form cycle, is he's coming off the 10 furlong race last time out, and I know it's kind of counterintuitive to think like that's a good thing, right? He went 10 furlongs, we know he can do it. But sometimes that taxes horses a little bit more. And he was wide. He was up close to a fast pace. I know he was geared down late, but sort of the same thing with Swiss Skydiver, you know, shortening strides late. Maybe it just takes a lot more out of him. And this is where this comes into play. So this is going to be the first race in his career that he's going to run in less than 30 days. And that's massive because he's run off breaks throughout every single start. He ran fresh first. You can see 58 days, 56, 63, 56, 84, 49. And today is going to be, or Saturday will be 28. So that is a big difference. You know, when you're able to train a horse up to a race, you're able to get him recovered from a race, coming off a top last time out. The pace here, it looks to me like it's going to be contentious. He's drawn outside. Kind of seems like they've got to kind of get into the race. So if there is any regression, you know, where he's not quite fully recovered, that's where he gets beat this afternoon. So there's a scenario for that. But of course, the logicals, I just don't think he's, a complete slam dunk the way a lot of people do in this race.
While you're on that, so paint for me a picture of the first quarter mile as it relates to Tis the Law with New York traffic inside of him, authentic to the outside. How do you think that whole thing shakes out?
Well, both those horses have to go. I mean, Authentic's got to go. New York traffic, the same thing. They're
you think Authentic just cuts over just like that, or how's that going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I can't really dictate the traffic. I mean, what tactics the riders are going to use. That's what got him beat in the Santa Anita Derby, is when he couldn't get the lead and he was wide. But there's no other way. If they're in this race to win, there's no other way he has a chance to go. He's got to go to the front. They've got to take no prisoners. They've got to figure out a way to get to the front by hell or high water. And I mean, in terms of New York traffic, it's like the same thing. I mean, he's got to get into a pressing trip. He's not going to outkick any of these horses. They've got to go. 1,000 Words, to me, he's another horse I want to see him forwardly placed. I think that's where he runs his race the best. And I think he's got the classy speed of those horses. And it does. I mean, Tis the Law has tactical speed as well. And being on the outside, he's going to kind of have to follow those horses where they go to the front end. So he's got to kind of put himself in the race. And it could be fast from that perspective. The Derby just kind of always tends to be fast. I don't, it's exciting or whatever. A lot of horses you got to clear. But it just kind of seems like that's the way it's going to be. Those are kind of your pace setters from that perspective. And then you have, I'm trying to see if there's anybody else. I mean, Money Moves probably somewhat close in there. I think Honor AP is just coming into this race like the right way. I think he's just a super logical horse. He's got tons of class. He's got tons of stamina. Last time out, I thought that race was as good as 1,000 Words. The adversity, the ground loss, the things that he had to deal with in that race. And I just, I think he's coming into this race not over the top, where I think Tis the Law, there's a chance that he could be over the top. And again, when you have a horse that's going to be a super short price, you have to be super critical. Weeks ago when I was going through this, it's been that long. I saw that you made a nod to attachment rate. I did the same thing. I don't think it's because he's necessarily like the best horse in this race, but I think he's the horse that he could just get the trip, because he has the ability to kind of show gears. He can put himself in the race and he can finish. Seems to have some stamina. Third start of the form cycle. He's improving with each race. So I just think he could be kind of in the right spot at the right time, not necessarily a horse that I think is, the best horse in the field necessarily. But I give him a chance. I would love to upgrade him forcible. I think he's coming into this race the right way. But again, being a deep closer, and on the inside, I don't think he handles kickback that well. So trip is going to be pretty interesting for him. And then a lot of underneaths after that. But that's kind of how I saw the Derby.
Woodbine Live, the only place you're going to see Emily Gullikson give you Derby commentary over harness racing video. Thank you for that quick run through. Robert, we put you up against the clock. We're going to have you get into it. Emily, thank you again. We will we'll see you next week. You know how many shows are left. Let's see.
Only one. There's only one show left. One show left. Unless they let us do a makeup one, but we'll see. As of now, just one left.
If we ask them nicely.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
All right, you guys. Good luck. Good luck this weekend, everybody. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Emily.
All right, Robert, go for it.
Here we go. Elimination for the William Wellwood top 5, advanced to the final. 2-year-old colts and gelding trotters. Mostly well-behaved ones. There's a few in here that do make breaks. Muscle Dynasty, Dan was the horse that we were chasing and then missed out when he paid $20-some-odd. But the two, Southwind Tyrion is just, he's an absolute machine. 3 for 3 lifetime and just devastating victories. With Oka Sponstead training and driving, and now tonight you get Yannick Gingras. So people could say, well, maybe the change should be concerning. I don't think so. Yannick's the best in the world. We saw him on the show on Saturday night. This race again, 1 to 5, 2-year-old trotters, you can't really go there. I used him over top of the 4 Tokyo Sealster. That's our old pal. We've seen him many times. I think Dan played him last time when he finished third. And I do like Logan Park too, who Ashley cashed on. So this is kind of like a race that brings it all together here. Ashley cashed on Logan Park, I believe, 3 starts ago at 7-1. And then I think I used On Its Streak, the 9, Bob McClure, Luke Blay for 4th. But this race to me is all about Southwind Tyrion. And I really think that he is the only threat to Macho Martini in this, William Welwood Memorial, he's in a later elimination. And again, along the line, big race next week. Plus, the winner gets a spot in the Mohawk Million. But Ashley, what do you think?
I mean, you touched upon it. The 2 is going to be really tough here. And I think the big thing too, Yannick, I mean, Oka's not going to come just because of all the quarantine rules. Like Yannick established base there. There's been articles, his family came up, but they had to go back because of school and all of that stuff. So to me, Southwind Tyrion's the top choice, and then it's Tokyo Sealster, and then I think it's kind of open underneath. I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing Plumville Prince. I really think they probably scratched because they knew I was going to be on the show because I jinxed them at the Meadowlands before the race. I was telling Scott Zero, I'm like, oh, I like Plumville. And you can see that race on August 8th at Meadowlands, beaten by 78 lengths. Just fell apart. So to me, with what's left, even using this horse, I would have used Plumville for maybe 3rd just because he is very unpredictable. But to me, it's all 2-4 here. And then from there, it's pretty wide open.
Yeah. I mean, coming home in 27, 27, 27-1, and every single one of those efforts, he was completely wrapped up. And I mean, like, he had a death grip on him in the stretch in all 3 of those efforts. And it was completely, he looked effortless in winning. Now, the thing that I don't like is that he now inherits the inside, right? Which is not good for young trotters, but he's not even hinted at making a break in any of his starts. And he's right on the gate right now. So he looks pretty good. So, we'll see. Well, I mean, again, elimination racing, top 5 advance, but I'm pretty sure this was going to win with authority.
For old time's sake, I threw Muscle Dynasty on the Superfecta, so I'm daring him to go off stride.
Well, let's see. I mean, maybe we'll run the gauntlet tonight and have no breakers. This one, there's a few that do tend to jump it off, so we'll see.
So we got Logan Park on the lead, huh?
Yeah, he's I know that the connections are very, very high in this horse, and they've said that they think he's one of the fastest horses for like just straight sprinting speed. So interesting that right to the front tonight on a runaway lead, like Ken just said. Didn't see the quarter flash up, but it had to be pretty big with the gap that he's created.
Wow.
Then 7th,
13-2 for the first 8th. I mean, pretty legit for a 2-year-old.
So bumping up to a 7-length advantage on the way to the midway point is Logan Park. He's
27-1, 55-4. So yeah, they're flying. But this is kind of the way the 2 is raced in all of the starts. He just kind of waits and then just pounces on them at the head of the lane, and here he comes now.
Now outside from in 3rd, here comes Southwind Tyrion getting into gear.
What price did Logan Park would have a 19-1, but again 1-9 in place. This is exactly hang though. Hang on.
Starts to reel in Logan Park with every single one of those strides. They go to 3/4.
Here comes Lucky. Is that Lucky Rascal coming? Lucky Rascal making a move as well.
25, 3 paths off the rail as Logan Park.
Haven't heard from Tokyo Sealster. He might be. He looks like he's going to fish through to make the final. Maybe he's moving into 5th right now.
Draws clear by 2 lengths. Up the inside is
Bob McClure trying to make a race of it here, but not going to happen.
Southwind Tyrion closing up the inside late on a streak. It's Southwind.
Wow, maybe it will happen.
Inside on a streak. Southwind Tyrion holding on.
He wins it. That was pretty impressive though. On a streak coming up the inside. Gave Yannick a scare.
I needed Muscle Dynasty to get by Tokyo. Excuse me, Tokyo Sealster, who I left off my ticket.
Wow.
Dumb me. I just played the super straight, and I was like,
"You've been going back and forth between those 2, Tokyo Sealster and Muscle Dynasty."
I know Tokyo Sealster's always been better to me. I don't know why I went with Muscle Dynasty, but whatever.
80-1 on Muscle Dynasty.
Well, that's why I went with Muscle Dynasty.
This is actually like that was really close.
Yeah, I used 9-2 on top also. I was like, all right, well, get me that price.
He was looking at the screen in the infield to see. Logan Park holds on for 3rd.
Yeah, Logan got tired, drifted right up.
Yeah, he did. Tokyo Sealster 4th, and then Muscle Dynasty 5th. Makes the final.
That horse hates me.
You can go back to him again next week, Dan.
No.
At 99 to 1. Next.
It's done. I'm done with them. Yeah. What else we got going on? Do we want to talk a little Derby? I open the floor up a little bit. Oaks, I saw we had a comment here from Gio Ponte, who actually I'm pretty like-minded here. She Dares the Devil. I absolutely love. Money Moves, I'm kind of meh about, but I definitely like She Dares the Devil. I don't know. What do you think, Ashley?
I feel like we should ask Robert if he's looked at all, because I still have Betting After Dark, so I don't want to steal all my thunder yet.
Yeah, that's true. Have you started handicapping, Robert?
I'm still embarrassed about Shrill Spite. All right, on Saturday night, you guys.
Robert Taylor's horse, right?
You guys killed me with that one. But I mean, I was so geared up for the North American Cup and Standardbred racing that I just, forgot all.
Before you say anything, Art Collector and King Guillermo are scratched. Just want to throw that out there.
They're both scratched. Wow.
They're both scratched. Yep. So.
Yeah. I'm not going to play. I'll probably end up playing exotics. I really want to see Tiz the Law go out there. And I like horses like that, right? I mean, he was so good last time. I'm not going to bet a horse at that short of a price. I don't really see him getting beat, though. So I might be an observer. I might play supers or something. I really have not dug into it as much as I would have liked because there's been so much going on. But for me, yeah, it's all about him. I mean, a few years ago, one of the best bets I ever made in my life was I bet Justified with the Triple Crown before the Derby.
Oh, that's awesome!
Which is something that I was pretty proud of. I got
what kind of odds did you get on that?
I got 25 to 1, which
nice.
was pretty good. And I bet a pretty big number on it. But and then the Derby. I mean, the exotics, the multi-legs all paid great too. So that's if I was actually going to play Saturday, which I'm probably will because I'm a degenerate. And even though we're in the midst of unpacking and everything at the new house, I'll probably will still sneak away and play. But I'll probably play multi-leg, wagers and just probably key Tiz the Law, do something really boring. But they can still pay great if you put numbers in around them. I just, like I said, I was just so thoroughly impressed by him that that's where I'm going to land. But I'll listen to you guys and then formulate all my stuff around them based on what you guys say.
Go ahead, Ashley.
You stole my thunder in the Oaks, and that's the horse that I want to talk about on Betting After Dark. I love She Dares the Devil. Like, that's a horse that I think is just on the up and up and can improve there. And I mean,
have you watched those replays, those gallop outs?
Yeah, she's
just insane.
Yeah, I think I don't know. We talk about different people come on the show. They use their different numbers, and the buyers aren't as strong as some of the others in there. But I don't care at all. I think she's just been kind of freakishly good. And yeah, she's gonna get her class test, but I just liked the price. It was about the best price I could find probably between the 2 days of racing. I will say Saturday. I'm thinking it's Friday. No, Saturday. My price horse is probably in the Turf Classic on the entire card because I really don't want to say my horse in the Derby's a price horse. I mean, I think Tiz Law is going to be tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the opposite of Emily. Every horse can get beat. I mean, we've seen it how many times, Yeah. I've been doing a lot of fact digging lately just about the Triple Crown in general, and you see all these horses and whether it's the Belmont, now we have a different order, right? So you're thinking of this kind of as the Preakness because it's the second leg, but it's not. It's still the Derby. Yes, he's beatable, but every horse is beatable at some point or another. So for me, I thought the price in the Turf Classic, I really like the 6, Mr. Dumas. I love this horse. A 12 to 1 morning line with Manny Franco. Was second last time out behind Some Like It Hot Brown, who's been an interesting horse of development. So that's a horse that I'm probably going to use in the double. And then I'll probably play a heavier double with 5 or 6 horses in the Derby and try to hopefully in that case. But I'm rooting for Tiz the Law. I can't say that I'm not. I would love to see him win. And, hopefully Sakatoga gets their first Triple Crown out of this.
I'll say a couple of things. One, yes, I agree. The storyline would be nice. And I think that what Tiz the Law has already done is incredible. People are going to hate me for saying this, so I'm just going to say it. I'm not as hungry for a Triple Crown winner as I was 5 years ago. I'm not going to lose any sleep if Tiz the Law loses.
Well, I think it's also because there's been 2,
right.
American Pharaoh and
yeah.
Justify in the last 5 years. So I think that takes away from it. Where when we got the first one, it was amazing. I still even think it was taken away from Justified when he got it,
Exactly. It didn't feel like anything special happened.
But
it's Triple Crown.
and I don't know your opinion on it. I don't know Robert's opinion on this, but to me, yes, the Belmont was not at 1.5 miles. It's at a mile and a mile and an eighth. But I think when I look at that, if he can pull it off, and he does pull it off, I still think he still has a Triple Crown. Yes, it's different, but to have a horse stay in form that long, and also racing the Travers in between it all, that's pretty impressive in a different way.
Yeah, so. I personally think that what he didn't do in terms of going the added distance, had it been a traditional Belmont, he's made up for by running in the Travers. Not only running in the Travers, but winning it as dominantly as he did, and then as you touched on, to stay in form from March through September and be the best horse in any division, let alone the 3-year-old division, where there's so much maturing and growing that's happening between, spring and late summer, I think is one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen. I mean, think about it. Most of these horses, if they won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown, or they look good in 2 of those races, by the Belmont, they've been spent. And, let alone, you just hope maybe they can come back in the Travers or the Haskell. Maybe they can come back by the end of the year. This horse has done all of it. Just run all these races, and I get it. The Belmont wasn't 1.5 miles. I don't know. I don't take anything away from him at this moment. I think if he goes on, if he wins this race, and then he goes on, he wins the Preakness, and he goes on to win the Breeders' Cup. I've said this before, people think I'm crazy. He's an all-time great, top 5 horse of all time.
If he wins the Classic after, assuming he wins the next 2 legs of this, he's up there for sure.
Yeah. So, Robert?
Yeah, listen, I've been thoroughly impressed, and I like a good story, and it's kind of gets lost in the mix this year because it's a little bit different, but I think that's what also makes it special to me. And I would like to see it happen. Yep. And again, his Travers victory was one of the most insane things I've ever seen from a racehorse, just to do it that easy. So
yeah,
I would love to see him, put that exclamation, kind of an effort in the Derby, because it's just funny that everyone I kind of listen to that kind of maps it out now just seems to say, wow, the Derby's different. Well, a great horse is a great horse. Right.
Everyone's trying to conceive of a scenario in which he's going to lose, and I give Emily credit. I went through the same process myself, and we actually, it scares me. We landed on the same horses. I think Honor AP is going to win the race, but I brainwashed myself into believing that. So
to make money in this game, you have to beat them, right? I mean, if you're wagering on it and playing it seriously, you have to beat them. But I still think that sometimes there's horses that are just that good, and that's what he is to me.
Yeah.
Dan, I got to ask you one question. From a handicapping standpoint, and this is going to sound really bad because I'm going to say this out loud. Not because I just have sentimental interest, right? I'd love to see him win the Triple Crown, right? We have this Triple Crown, weird Triple Crown, whatever you want to call it. This year, we have potential for it. We didn't last year. Mm-hmm. But typically, when I have 20 horses in the starting 8 for the Derby, I can think of different races, right? And I can think about how it played out. Always Dreaming and Looking for Lee, right? I could find a horse that wasn't going to be heavily favored. I loved Always Dreaming. I loved Looking for Lee was second. Did you find almost that you're reaching to beat him, especially this year? Or did you find I find it, I struggle. A horse that I like underneath, what I could tell Emily didn't really care for, is New York Traffic. Mm-hmm. I like New York Traffic, but I almost feel when I'm trying to put a try together, I'm almost reaching for prices.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all sort of reaching. I went into it. I think my process was I was going to go in sort of clean slate, try to remove from my mind the biases of, oh man, I'm so mad at that horse because he cost me the LeCompte or the Risen Star or the Florida Derby. Just completely wipe the slate clean, not be upset at horses who disappointed me in the preps. Not be in any way sell short some of these horses who may have run well in preps, but who I didn't have previously. And so now I don't want to I want to be stubborn. I made excuses for why they won, for example. 1,000 Words, who I just flashed, would be a perfect example of a horse who I've never liked. But I made myself look at his replays, all of them critically. I've probably watched, 80, 90 replays going back to some of these horses' maiden races, which is insane but I really wanted to try to like connect with these horses, like spiritually. I want to like know who they are. I want to get a sense for what their mentality is, where they want to be, and all the rest of it. Let's see, we got a few more comments here. If he loses, and a big if honorary P. So that's the alternative there. Ryan is about done with this stuff. We'll get back to it, Ryan. We'll get back to it. But by the way, I should mention, I don't think we've said this yet, or we've told people yet. We did the North America Cup just this past weekend. The Mohawk Million, we're actually going to do another show for. So I think that's pretty exciting. Ashley's like, oh, it's good to know that. She's like, thanks for telling me.
No,
well, it's on the calendar.
It's somewhere on my list of things to do.
It's on the calendar.
On today's list.
No, it's down the road. But for again, for the standard bred fans, we've got you covered. It was actually really cool, I'll say, to see on Saturday night. We didn't know how it was going to go. We're ABR, right? Like we're all like thoroughbred all the time. Didn't know what kind of viewership there would be if people would tune in for it. And we had really good viewership throughout. And beyond that, I think everybody was, super engaged, sending in comments, sending in thoughts, making fun of, Dave for not being able to figure out his technology. And, Gabe, who I could see like every time I put somebody full screen would like pound a beer and like would like put it down right when I like put everybody back on the screen again. It was a great show. It was a great lineup. You guys did a tremendous job hosting. I just want to say that personally, even though I told you guys individually, did a tremendous job hosting and also in coordinating. Ashley, I know you reached out to a lot of the folks that came on the show. Also, Mark McElvey over at Woodbine was instrumental in bringing in some of the drivers. We had the top 2 drivers, which was like spectacular. And then obviously Nancy Tactor as well was a lot of fun. I don't know where she was. She was like in like a dark like alley.
She's at
somewhere.
the Miller's house, I believe, what she said,
okay,
which they're big in harness racing. And I think she stepped outside to get away from the party. That's why I asked her, I'm like, what are you up to, Nancy? Because I could tell she wasn't home. So
no, she was great. That was a lot of fun. So, all right. So look, Ashley mentioned it. You could catch Betting After Dark at 8:30 tonight. So right after
it'll still
this
be
show.
after dark, basically, but not 10:15, which is perfect for me.
Yeah, Marty said you should call it Betting After Dusk because it's not totally, especially on the West Coast. I mean, it's like pure daylight.
Yeah.
It's absolutely daytime. But yeah, you could catch Ashley on with Anita Marks at Anita Marks on Twitter. So she'll give you the rest of her Derby and undercard analysis. They'll also get into the Oaks a little bit more. But yes, so as not to have a revolt on our hands from Ryan, let's go ahead and pop up race 3 at Woodbine Mohawk. Robert.
Well, we're sticking with the 2-year-olds. This time it's 2-year-old pacing fillies, non-winners of 1 or $8,600 lifetime. And that number is a little bit important because the horse that I have on top, the 10, that trailing post, is Extrilla Hanover. And, she is in non-winners of 1, but she actually has a lifetime win. She fits it on that earnings condition. She's got $8,500 made. So they opened the class for this horse. They put her at $8,600 so that she, could fill the class. And that's who I'm going with. Coming out of the When You Wish Upon a Star. That's the one they were just showing on the screen. There's actually my second choice coming out of that same series. But 3 starts back, Extrilla Hanover, beat a field much like this and did it really, really easily. Won by 6 lengths, home at 27-2, 154 at 40 cents to the dollar. Trailing post is probably scaring some people away today, but now you get Yannick Gingras, and we don't have to really talk about how good he is. We know how good he is. So, I just think this horse kind of lays over this group. And the trailing post, though, has been a bit of an issue, especially right now. Paul's Bet Hanover, who I do like for second, has been a closing type. Got beat last time at Grand River in a non-winners of 5,000 lifetime race, but in her first lifetime started at 100-1. You ran a real nice one, finishing 3rd to Notorious Pink. So I think that she can definitely hit this ticket right now, 10-1. Always Be Deo, who I used for 3rd. This horse, was a $290,000 yearling. So at some point, we're thinking we're going to see something out of this one. Last time got beat ahead in a class probably a little bit easier than this one. Post 8, Luke Blay horses always take a lot of money. Whether they're trotters or pacers, they always take money. The connections are powerful. Bob McClure in the bike. 5-2 right now. You're betting favorite. That will change probably. The 10 will probably shift to the favorite. My bomb on the ticket was the 5, Tierra Dancer, who I thought would be like 50 or 60 to 1. The fact this one is 15 to 1 makes me think we might see something from this one today. Last time, a very evenly paced mile, didn't really do anything much, but wasn't really asked to do anything much. Back half and 56-3. I think this one can hit the ticket today, but I was hoping for a much bigger price. So who knows? Maybe the money's talking to us a little bit there at 16 to 1. But what do you think, Ashley?
I went with Always Be Deo as my top choice, the 8, and then I went to the 10. I actually thought this race was extremely chalky. I was like searching for a price, and it came to the point I was reaching, and I was confident I was reaching. The other horse that I looked to for third is Tony Alania's horse, the 3, Easy Runner Hanover.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at the effort on July 28th and then August 4th, I'm looking at that, and then last time out, finally you can see the horse wasn't respected in those other races, 12 to 1 and 60-some to 1. Kind of gets that definitely a drop, right? It was only, you can even just see that from the conditions of the race, but had the 10 post, and I don't think that suited this horse at all. So I think today with a better post, Doug McNair is still on the bike. I find it hard to ignore Tony a lot of the time, so that'd be my next horse. But honestly, I'm not wagering on this race. I thought it was pretty chalky.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm surprised that chalky, but I'm surprised about 2 to 1 and 5 to 2. I thought they'd both take more money than that. The one just got hit a little bit down to 8 to 1, which is interesting. I do think that she's got a bit of a shot at the ticket. Now they're both 2 to 1, so the late money's probably going to pour it on both of them. But I agree, they're kind of the two standouts. An Easy Runner Hanover, is one that I've kind of been chasing and have been disappointed about. But you're right, drawing inside today. 3-hole after trailing post last time. Might see a little bit more from this one. But I'd love to. Ryan Willis didn't even give us a pick. He's in there wanting to see the harness horses and
just trash talking us. That's all.
Ryan the Wizard Willis.
That was it.
Yeah. He had a big score earlier in the week, I think, Monday or Tuesday. He hit them for like 7,000 or 8,000. I think he posted on Twitter.
Well, Joey posted it. Joey likes the 8. What do you got, Ryan? Talk to us.
Speed from the outside of the gate, a Black Diamond, Always Be Dale.
All right, here we go.
Always Be Dale, right to the choo-choo today.
And from Easy Runner Hanover.
Or at least trying to get there.
That Hanover emerged 6th. 7th through from the second tier came Extrilla Hanover. Caught wide going into that first turn is Tierra Dancer. Then it's back to JM on 6. Last away is
not the worst spot away for the 10. That away
the outside to look for the lead.
7th, but
gated there was Doc's Delight as Houdon had
that 26 to 1 on top. There we go. No longer
going to sit behind that one. Up and around drives Always Be Dale. Always Be Dale finds the front, leveling off now. Doc's Delight back into second, third outside. Here drives.
By the way, that 5 that you mentioned did float up to 30 to 1. So
back into fourth continues a
that makes more sense.
5th was Sega starting a move. 6 to the
3.
outside.
Easy
There goes
Runner Hanover. 5 to 2.
Then it's Extrilla Hanover starting up on that cover.
So that one took a good amount of late money.
Yeah, 5 to 2.
In the field as they move around the final turn.
The one's making a nice move now. 8 to 1.
The outside sweeps up, always watching. Half and 56-4. They come to 3/4. Easy Runner.
I would not mind if the one won this race, but this is going to be really interesting to see what she's got now.
Dale, then on cover 4th, Extrilla Hanover. 3/4.
Here comes Extrilla Hanover.
One in their end of the stretch.
Always Be Dale's fishing for room.
Paula's bet Hanover.
Should be interesting. Oh, Mike Whalen just shut off McClure.
Behind horses, Always Be Dale.
Now he's coming through.
Late pace, deep stretch, trying to hold on is Paula's bet Hanover.
Is he or just one going to hold on?
Outside, coming to her now.
I need the snapping from Ashley for the one to hang on here.
Got it.
Paula's bet Hanover.
That's a good number for me.
Look at that. Nice job.
Extrilla Hanover and the Always Be Dale.
The journal I picked 10-1-8. And it ran 1:10.8, so that's not bad.
Good.
I'll bet Hanover though. Like I said, just kind of figured in here. Both those horses coming out of the, When You Wish Upon a Star, I guess much tougher. So it's Mike Whalen too good for these guys. Yeah, he was. He did everything right there. He made the move at the right time, and then he actually shut off Bobby. That probably cost him a little bit of a little length or two. So yeah, it looks like it's 1:8 then. Still though, Not bad. That's good for my multi-leg wagers.
Very good.
Do you want to give us, like we do every week, you want to give us a late sequence here? Pick 4, pick 5?
We could. Yeah, I mean, I do one for the broadcast, and I'm trying to get it cheap again tonight. You know,
Sam goes, do you want to? That was more like, will you please?
As I pull out the notepad. Hold on. Let me grab a pen. Give me a second.
My best bet does fall in the late pick 4. You see, this is where I get mad at myself though, because if I put that 1 on top there in the journal, you just didn't have the guts sometimes. You think, okay, this horse can be second, and the horse goes out and wins at 8-1. So
it's funny. I do like weekly blogs. Like I have like a thing called Dan's Double. I like this week. It so happens I put up a couple of horses that are like 7-2, 3-1. I usually don't put anything under 10-1 on top. I mean, like people know, like I'm not going to be right every week, but when I'm right, they're going to cash. That's my thinking at least. But I do understand in terms of longevity. Yeah. If you don't want people to start, I do get hate mail. If you don't want people to send you the hate mail, you gotta feed them the chalk when it looks.
And the thing is too is this horse is probably a much bigger price in the multis because that late money came in, right? When we were first talking about this horse around 12-1. And Mike Whalen's, not a household name in the circuit, but he certainly can bring home price from time to time. So, and I think that with Ryan Willis saying what he said there, he cashed on this horse. He didn't tell us.
Of course not. He seems happy though.
He's definitely happy.
That's a subtle brag.
I can tell I know when he tweets, like it'll be something similar going out to everyone. I guarantee it. And
that's his victory lap right there.
He's giddy right now. He just didn't want to tell us. But so late pick 4 starts in race number 8. It was the ticket that I get assigned pretty much every Thursday night. And in the first leg, I'm using 4 horses, but I really like a horse. It's an angle that I think is going to be feast or famine. That's why we're going to use 4 in the pick 4. I'm using the 1, 2, 5, and 8. It's Knockdown, Dragout, Roland, Meadow Branch, Noble, and Oxford Hall. Those are the 4 I'm using. But Knockdown, Dragout is switching hands, was purchased privately by Shane Arsenault. Knockdown Drago was a horse that entering her 2-year-old season was supposed to be an absolute monster. The horse was just talked about as being all world, was racing in Sire Stakes action south of the border and looking, really good, and then just kind of fell off the map. They went off the rails at some point. So I think that the change of scenery tonight, and I also have seen this angle prove positive before. I'm really interested to see what this one does. Bob McClure in the bike, 5-1 in the morning line. Chad Rosema made this horse his turnaround horse of the night. My top pick in the journal. Probably won't get 5-1, but I really, really like Knockdown Dragout in race number 8. In race 9, it's funny. This race is a 6-horse field, and you guys are just gonna say take it all. I know, take it all. I get it. I'm using 3, 4, 5. So half the field, take it all. You guys can go ahead, take that all, and I probably will in a couple tickets. But I like to kind of, save my equity there. I'm going to go with a 3, 4, and 5. Fernhill Bill is my top pick. The 4 gets into trouble every single week. And it was funny because Emily in the thoroughbred race said, well, this horse breaks slow every week, which I kind of looked at like, well, maybe the horse won't break slow today. If you saw that, the horse broke slow. So we'll probably see it again with this one today. The horse will get into trouble, close up late, and probably just miss. But the horse has gotten into trouble every single week. And in a 6-horse field, I'm hoping to somehow avoid trouble and get the job done tonight. But using the 3, 4, and 5. Carmen Osceola, by the way, for everyone playing tonight, he's winning with everything right now. We did the Saturday night card, and he had, I believe, 2 wins. He was 3rd in the NA Cup, and he was 3rd in the mandatory high 5 and 4 starts. So he's winning with everything right now. Everything's racing live. Money Makes Your Smiles, the 3 in there. I would not ignore that one, which is a good segue to my best bet, who's in race number 10, and we're going with number 8 in Secret. This horse is moving first start, Carmen Osceola, and coming up from Pennsylvania, has been racing at Harris Philly against much tougher. This is literally the bottom condition for trotters. And this horse, has been, a nice horse throughout its career. Almost 900,000 made at the age of 8. And I think moving to the Carmen Osceola barn, especially with how hot he is right now, I think this one has the potential to run off the screen tonight. From post 8, will take a lot of play. 3-1 is way too ambitious. Probably closer to the 7-5, 8-5 range. But I did make this one my best bet of the night. And then in race number 11, we're going to go in there a single. And we did this once before. We keyed 2 8 horses back to back, and it did not work out well. But we're going to do it again. And I'm going to key Hockey Hanover, who also plunges in class tonight, down to the non-winners of 5,000 last 5 level, which is the second lowest condition. And this horse has raced as high as non-winners of 28,000 last 5. It's a power drop for this one, and this one races best when he goes to the front. And last time he was even close to this level, he blew the doors off them, from this same post 8 tonight. And I really don't see this one getting beat if he does 2 things: behaves himself and gets to the front. So I think the ticket is $12 the way I mapped it out, but by all means, spend a little more, spend a little less, do whatever you want with it. And it's interesting. Yeah, that's fine. So he's saying it too. So now it's 3 against 1. That race does have the potential to produce something funky tonight. The problem is that everyone's commenting it's the wide open race of the night, which means I think it'll be kind of evenly distributed anyway. So I'll take an all on some of the tickets.
Well, if you go all with this structure, you're looking at $24. Not too bad, and that's for $1 ticket. That's for $1 pick 4. So, really good stuff. We'll leave the ticket there as we go off air for this week. It's been another good show. We got one left, and then as we teased ahead to, we've got some other shows down the pike, some special edition shows. The Mohawk Million one will be just one. We've got Queen's Plate next week. We have a Queen's Plate show. I don't know who's hosting that show with me. I think Ashley is not hosting that show with me. Right? Give me. I
don't think I was.
No, I didn't think you were either. I was saying I don't think you're on that one.
I didn't do the Oaks with you, so.
Yeah. So we'll have more shows to come, and we still have next week. We have Woodbine Live next week. So Joey's still firing in with action. Take the 3 in race 4. All right. If you want to catch more of Ashley tonight, head on over to @AnitaMarks on Twitter. In about 30 minutes, they'll be going over the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby card. If you want to catch more of Robert, you go to the Horse Players Journal in the program every single night of the week at Mohawk. So you can catch him there. You could also catch him signing some documents tomorrow as he closes on his home. So congrats again, Robert, finally. And here's to, the next phase, to a little bit of relaxation, hopefully, once you get unpacked.
Yeah. After tonight, the loose ends, right? Closing tomorrow. It's not going to be fun for the next 4 or 5 hours. But, after that, it'll be clear sailing.
Very good. Very good. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week.